Okay, so we're going to quite a bit of focus on those game-based activities, and that's just sent out web browser. So that can work on anything, whether that's your iPads, your Chromebook, Kindle Fires, phones, or just a desktop in the back of the room. Works absolutely fine for those. I'm going to look at some maths tools as well, some widgets, very, very specific to maths, and look at how to embed videos as well. And then we'll have a quick look at the online version of Smart Learning Suite Online, which is enable you to put the notebook file in the cloud and deliver that in a kind of distance learning approach, or just send it out to the children at the back of the room if you want them to collaborate together in that way. So that's an overview, and we'll try and kick it off and try and stick within the rough guidelines of an hour. Just as a brief introduction, if you are joining, you weren't here last week, I'm Mark. I probably should have started with this. I do professional development for Smart, based here in the UK, and I was a former primary school teacher. I've taught everything from kind of reception to year 6, loved it, but given the opportunities to support guys like you, I kind of jumped at the opportunity because this is kind of very much my passion, and I saw the benefits within my classroom, and I wanted to help you, so that's where I am. Like I said at the beginning, feel free to go off on any tangent, ask any questions. That's no problem at all. This is kind of your time. But if you do think of anything afterwards, then feel free to email me. I will send out the recording of these, so you'll have that as well as next week's and last week's. So there we go. I won't need to go through that. Just as a very, very quick recap from last week, we looked at using the gallery last week at the side here. Down at the side, second one down. So this is within Smart Notebook, which sits on the desktop. Let's just minimize all those so we can see where Notebook is. I've got far too many windows open, surprise, surprise. Smart Notebook, it's up there. It might be down as an icon here. Or if you might just click on the start menu, type in Smart Notebook, and it'll appear. It's a piece of software like this, and down at the side here, you've got a gallery full of lots of great things, and you can populate that yourself. We looked at importing PowerPoint or any other interactive whiteboard files as well by clicking File, Import, and then you can bring that content as well as stuff that's obviously there's loads of stuff available online as well. You can use that content. We briefly looked at some templates that sit within this part of the board. I'm now switching over. You've got an input button down here. It's like a square with a arrow going into it. That changes the input to this one here. And then within there, you've got a whiteboard, you've got a browser and some screen sharing things, as well as some different templates that are available to you in there. Like I said, that's just a quick recap of last week. I'm not going to go into much detail, just to say that what we looked at there. I'm just going to change my input, go back to my computer that I've plugged in at the back. And this is kind of where we do most of the teaching on your desktop itself here. And then this is inside Smart Notebooks piece of software. Saving it, you can save it like a normal file, whether that's on a pen drive, your Smart account, Google Drive, OneDrive, or just save it somewhere on your school network. That's all absolutely fine. And then we briefly looked at the assessments and activities, which we're going to go and look at in detail. But like I said, I'll send out the recording if you did miss that, and we can go off and look at that there. So this one I kind of looked at last week as well. This is our desktop experience. This is Smart Notebook that sits on there. We've just jumped very, very briefly into we call IQ units. It's like an Android, like a mini computer plugged in at the back. And that's got some basic functionality as well. And your lessons are linked within there, as well as the online one as well, which we'll look at the end. Right, this one. This is trying to enhance your lesson. So you've made some stuff, you've got some words, you've made the font the right size, you've got a shape in it, you've got a background with squared paper or whatever you want, and you're ready to teach, and it's working absolutely fine. You've created some good content. So how can we now take that glorified PowerPoint, if you want, and actually make it even better? How can we enhance it, which is kind of what our topic is today. And that there, the easiest way to do it is by clicking on this little space invader at the top. And that gives you access to Smart Activities. It's a little bit like Kahoot, Quizlet, Socrates, all those sorts of things that are brilliant and used by loads and loads of teachers. But rather than having to go out to the web and using them that way, it just sits on your computer and it sits within your lesson. So you can see, so I've got some of the games at the bottom already made. I'm going to call them games. I should probably call them activities, but hey ho. And then we can either play them straight at the board, offline or online if we want to. And then we can send those out to, I'm going to send them to you in a moment, or we can send them out to students, whether they're in the room or out the room, or for some reason sitting in the head's office for the next half an hour. So all these games here, there's lots and lots of different ones, and we're going to have a work through of those and have a bit of a play with them. Afterwards, if you want to have a bit of a play, there's like a little magnifying glass there. If you click on that magnifying glass there, it just gives you an option of what that game is. And you can see here there's a fill in the blanks. So you've got your the words at the bottom, and you're just dragging and dropping them on there. To make it, they're exactly the same through the whole way. The wizard, you just click on the game you want, and then it gives you this text here, and you click next, and it's quite self-explanatory what they are. But like I said, we're going to go into detail that in kind of throughout all of the games. But I want to get you playing with these. So I'm going to start this one here. I think this might be a similar one to be used before as well. So to get students online, I'm going to click at my little mobile device here, and it's going to give me a web address. If you have got a device with you, a laptop, iPad, anything, phone in your pocket, if you want to go to hellosmarts.com on a web browser, kind of recommend Chrome, but anyone you want, and it's going to ask you for a code. So let's just show you what I mean, what we're actually doing. If you want to go and do that in the background, go for it. If you want to just watch me, so this is what the students would do. They'd open up a web browser, hellosmart.com, and you're going to be faced with something that looks like this. So it's got a picture of children because it's the children login. I'm just going to join as guest for today. And it's going to ask you for a class ID. That was the one that I had up on the board. It is 162353. 162353. I'll show you again in a moment. And then it's going to ask you for your name, which is just your name. I'm just going to put in M for now and click join. And let's see. So R is in. Thanks, R, whoever that is. I've got Chris has joined in, Mike's joined in, Vicky, Mrs. P, Catherine G, and another M. Excellent. So I can see 9 of you are already connected to my lesson here. And if I click start, then this pirate game is going to be sent out to you. I'll just leave that code up as well if you're still joining. So if you haven't got a device, either look at someone's. This here is what the students see. This is what you see at the moment. So you can, I want a car rather than oxygen. It's something that I need, and you can play that. And up to you.
Sorry, can I just ask really quickly? Because we're all sat here, how can I just make it so you said it at the beginning, so I can just see the other? I'm split screen at the minute, and I want it so you're bigger on our big screen.
Okay, I could just walk really closely and talk like this. No,
no, that's fine.
If next to my name there should be 3 little dots.
Yeah.
If you click on that and click on pin.
I clicked everything else but that. Thank you very much. There we go.
That's all right. Yeah. Super. Where am I clicking now? This one. Okay, so I've now got 14 people joined in that. So we can play this game here. And I can also play up on the board as well, obviously. But if I want to send it out to the students, then they can play this game here as well. To make that, because obviously it's great for the students to get them engaged, to really kind of part of their learning. But there's one side of it, that's great. The other side of it is actually I don't want to spend too much time making this because I've got far too much on my plate already. Thank you very much. So the way that kind of Smart have done this is literally just typing in the list. Rather than giving you and kind of searching for this list or this list, what I kind of find, the amount of hours I spent searching for resources and then thought, oh, I'll just make it myself. It's actually quite easy to make, which is brilliant. So for example, here, all the things that I need, there is the list there. Things I want, a list there. Now, this is just sorting activities. So whichever age range you're teaching, whichever subject you're teaching at that moment, we've always got those sorting activities. You can add pictures to it as well. So it might be, well, whatever. I won't go into examples. You've probably got 1,000 ways that you use sorting already. I've typed in those 2 lists there. I've clicked next. You can have these different backgrounds. With this super sort as well, you can also customize it. The fact that you can put different backgrounds in, you can move these around to be whatever you want. And then you can add different images to the background as well. You just choose them from your web here. And then I'm going to click finish. So you can see here, I've got on my screen, if I click start, your pirate game is going to go. And you've now got this slightly boring one. I probably should have had an image queued up, but it's essentially the same game. I've used this before, like Tudors. The Tudor monarchy went in here, and that was a picture of the crown. And then the ones that weren't were kind of outside in the garden down here, whatever image you want to add to it. So that's a sorting activity. Another one of those is a rank order. And these all sit within this Space Invader here. So again, rank order is something that we use loads. It could be days of the week, times tables. I always found this one brilliant, particularly kind of coming in after lunch and they're all kind of hectic and everyone's got a million questions of answers and that's kind of the next 20 minutes gone. Actually, if you can have the iPads already set up on the tables, they're coming in and they can just play a game, then actually the ones that need to talk to you, come to you, and the ones that kind of just going to get on have got something there in front of them. This one here, as you can see, the ones that are playing along is just sorting out the planets. This one here, you can order them in any order you want. You can get them right, you can get them wrong, because I just wanted to assess you based on what you've done this morning. And then I can kind of walk around and assess, see who's going what. You can swap them around in any order, but that's just the way I've set up that game initially. What it might be that you want to have, again, to make it, all I've done is just typed in those 8 planets, but I clicked on don't check. Maybe no one's getting it. Maybe I want to teach this for the first time. And for whatever reason, I want that instant feedback to the students. So I can click on instantly check answers here. I've got some labels as well. Click next. Maybe the basketball wasn't the greatest background to have. I can have a simple one. I can have monsters. Let's go for a science one rather than a rock concert. And I can click that one here. I can click start here. That's going to send it out to you now. So now halfway through that game, I'm afraid if you're only halfway there, you've lost it. You can now play this game, and actually putting them in the wrong place, it'll be chucked out. But if I put it in the right place, it's going to give you that instant feedback and say, oh, well done. And now I've lost you all to try and get that done immediately. I am just going to pause you because I think you're not quite paying attention. So I'm just going to pause that. And then I can actually talk to you rather than playing the game. And then when I finish giving you that next bit of instruction, I can just click resume up here and hey presto, you're all going on. That's obviously really, really handy rather than just going everyone on devices. Now, please look at me, please look at me, please look at me. Actually, that pause button there, which is sitting inside that device pause, is a really, really useful one to have. Jumping down, let's go for another one. So I'll pause after this one, get your brains thinking. This one, decimals. So again, it's a very similar background. You can see that I've put the content in. Again, through that pencil, I've made it through that Space Invader at the top there. And to look at these and to use these, I've got my fraction here, I've got my decimals here. And again, it's up to you to put your content in, but that means you can actually hone down on exactly what you want and exactly the right fractions or decimals or whatever content you want for those ones there. Click next. Let's go for an underwater one. Music's quite nice on this one. And then I can click start. And then that game is sent out to you there, for example. A useful thing to do also up here is to make it full screen. So at the top here, it's like a picture of a computer with a magnifying glass in it. I can choose my zooms, different things up in there. I've also got full screen. So if you do want to just look at that page from Smart Notebook, you have now got that full screen, which is obviously good for the size of the games as well. How are your fractions and decimals at the moment? Let's come back. Right, so we've looked at supersort, rank order, and match them up. What I'm just going to do now is I'm going to add a new page. So completely blank page, and I'm going to start and make one of those. So I'm going to click on that Space Invader, which brings me the options of all the different games I want. I'm going to click on this Shout It Out one. Click on Shout It Out. I want to randomize your answers. And I want to put them as text. I want to be able to send up 5 answers, and I want to see who's answering the questions with showing your names upon here. So now I've made this Shout It Out activity. This is essentially everyone tell me your answers all at the same time. And I'm going to write them all up on the board all at the same time. But half of you are already at home. Some of you are in the classroom, and let's do it in silence type style. So if I'm going to click start here, you are now going to have a text box that's going to appear on your device. And what I'd like you to type in that is a way that you think that either the supersort, the rank order, or the match 'em up could be used within your classroom. Feel free to type in your answer and send it in. It could be, like I said, rank order. We could order the planets. Healthy food, thanks R. Sorting, healthy food. One healthy food goes here, treats go over here. Maths early morning work. Yeah, so they're coming in doing a rank order or a match 'em up activity straight away. Leah's confused, but she can use this bit of the software. So Leah, those 3 games that we've just played, how could you use those within your classroom? Is what I'm kind of asking. I'll leave that down there for a moment, Leah. Mrs. somebody or other. So now I'm just going to check your name down here. Mrs. B thinks it could be sorting Egyptian gods, Roman gods. That's a good one. So super sort, that was a super sort. Maths work was a rank order. I have got a bin up the top here. So for example, Leah's comment, once I've kind of sorted that there, I can click and I can drop Leah's comment in there and it can be binned, which may be useful if you have got, should we say, certain year 4 boys, not stereotyping, but they may need to use the bin. Has anybody else got any answers that they can possibly send up? Anything that you could order? Apart from a gin and tonic at 4:30. I'm going to pause there until we've got another answer. Someone. Numbers, thanks. I'll move on. I'll kind of count my losses on that one. And Leah, if you do want to clarify that, then feel free to unmute yourself and go for it. If not, I'll carry on. Kings and queens, excellent. Thanks, R again. I think a few of you got that sorted. Let's move on then. So the next one I kind of wanted to show you here is your closed text. So it's, you've got a piece of work here, and which one, how can I bring that into there? Originated in the tropical, 60 million years ago. So I can bring this text and drag things into it, a bit like a comprehension type style. And if I click start on that, that's going to then send it out to you. So you can play that game. But before you can play it, I'm just going to show you how to make it. So I'm going to pause that for you all again with that pause button at the side, just to annoy you. And I've got that button at the side there. Here's how to edit them. To actually make them is through the Space Invader at the top here. But once you've made it, you can always edit it with the pencil at the side there. So this is my text. I could copy and paste this in if you're doing your own text. You can type it in yourself. You could do it with maths questions and select the answers that are to be dragged up into the top. When you first type it in, you just type. And then here there's define blanks. So if I click on the define blanks, you can just then literally just select the words or deselect the words that you actually want. If you want whole bits of text, you can kind of bring that out to select that larger group of text as well. There you go, it's a bit slow, but there it is. And again, you've got that same options of when prompted or instantly or don't check. Click next. Let's have fish background as we're talking about fish. Click finish. And then let's send out this one to you instead. So it's quick and easy to make, focused on your content, but actually really engaging for the students. And it kind of just brings a bit of extra life into it, into some of those more static lessons. I find them really, 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 really good. So that's that one there. I'm going to show you one more boring one, and then we'll have a quiz of all of you lot against all of you lot. This one here, as I said, I was out at a school this morning, and the secondary school quite liked the look of this one. I didn't quite like the look of it when I made it, but I thought there's the practical reason. But essentially, this is flip cards. On the front, there's that one, and if anyone knows that that is the chemical symbol of neon, then well done. But these are just flip cards. You can move them around. You can put them in stacks. For those there, it is just there's something on the front, there's something on the back. The way I did this with my Read Write Ink, the last sounds, beforehand, there was like obviously the sounds of the week, and all of those were lined up on here, and we clicked on it. It was a picture on the front of what sound is it, and on the back there was the sound, and they said that one there. And then as we had more sounds throughout the year, it was just that quick practice of click this one over. What's that? What's that one? What's that one? And then they could come up and click them, or I could come up and click them. So it's just another way of practicing those sounds in a different way, which obviously Read Write Ink wise is repetitive and necessary. But again, like I said, you can add images to that. So it might be what's the initial sound of this picture, turn it over, and then you can sort of see the grapheme of that. Flip cards, great. Right, monster quiz. Let's get you playing this one. I'm going to put my sound on here because I like the sound on this one. So I'm going to start it. I'm going to make it full screen as well, just because it's awesome. So these are all the people that have joined in. I can see there's a few more than I initially read out. I'm going to put you into teams. Let's put you in 6 teams. It's automatically going to put you into teams now. So Mrs. B, you're with Lou. I can see Em, Claire, and Megan are together. Mike, Chris, and Eva together, which may be a bad thing. Chris, let's put you over there. You can go with Carol. Thanks, Chris. And maybe let's put Tom. Tom, you can go with Mike. So if you know each other, Tom and Mike, great. If you don't, you're now teammates. And I'm going to start this quiz. Go! And this one here is the answers as well. So you can see as you're getting these correct or incorrect, your name is jumping on the board. You've just got one correct. Well done. Well done, Carol. Well done, Megan. Well done, Sarah. Well done, Chris. Well done, Lou. So your name is popping up on the board here as you're getting them correct. And I've just realized that I've got my own here. So hopefully I'm not going to let any of you down. Sorry, monster boxers. If you get one of these incorrect, it does go back into your stack, but it allows you to, it kind of takes away the wrong answer. So Megan's just gotten right. Well done, Megan. I'm getting these all wrong. Sorry. Well done, Lou. Oh, have we got a winner? Yes, monster boxers have won. Well done, Mrs. B. You came second in your team. Yay, Crate Crushers, you're third. Well done. I think some people have dropped in and dropped out. So I'm just going to end it there. And we've got the last few finished. So, monster boxers, who are you? Any monster boxers? Woohoo! Have a little happy dance. Got that one right. You can now review it. So you can now see on your device in front of you, you can now have that individual feedback. You can see which ones you personally got correct, which ones you need to work on. I can analyze my whole class up on the front here. So I can see the correct answer to question 1 was B, Africa. And most of us got it correct, but some thought it was South America to start with. Let's go down here. So first Olympic Games that was in the 8th century BC was that one there. We got loads of us got that wrong to start with. So then that's there. I can quickly and easily see just from that pie chart that that's where I need to focus my teaching on for that example there. Equally, women being allowed, it was 1902, was most people thought, but it was actually 1900. So again, that's where I can focus my teaching. And then you've got that feedback as well. To make these, again, I can edit it within that pencil at the top there. And you can see I've just added these questions here. This is not a question set that I don't think we'll ever need to use again. But just as an example here, I've got my 4 questions. I can add a question. When I add it, I can choose a multiple choice or a true and false. I use this for revision, kind of come in year 6 at 8 o'clock in the morning and do some maths work wasn't particularly a big selling point. But if it was come in at 8 o'clock in the morning and play Monster Quiz for half an hour, then I got a lot more people in, and maybe in the middle 10 minutes we actually picked apart some of those questions and then asked the same questions again, so having another try at it. So it's that trying to enhance your lesson, trying to get them engaged in it, but in a quick and easy way for you, which is kind of directed at their curriculum. So that one's Monster Quiz. That's a really, really good one. And let's just leave that one there. Those ones so far, all of those have been able to send out to your devices and play there. There are a few other ones that are playing just at the board. This one here is very much a Wheel of Fortune, so I can't send this one out. This one is that 2 teams come up to the board, they answer a question, and you spin the wheel and play the next game there. Similarly as the Speed 'em Up one. The Speed 'em Up one, you can have, because it's a 20-touch board, you can have loads of people coming up at once, choosing their own kind of avatar. And once they do that, they can then spin get it going faster. When they come to a certain point, a question pops up. Again, you put the questions in, but it's really fun and really engaging for those children to come up and play that one. I have done this with 25 students up at the board. So you've got kind of 4 in a line here, and then you're kind of acting like a drawbridge. That the 4 answer the question. In the short break after it, those go to the back, and then the next one stands up to the board. So of course you get nice, neatly, quietly, evenly spaced 4 lines with everyone just waiting their turn. Or you get everyone shouting, oh, no, it's that one, it's that one, it's that one. But again, it's that involvement and that engagement and excitement about playing on the board, playing their game, and then essentially it's excitement about their maths, or whichever you choose to kind of add to that one there. So that's a really, really good one. Last one I'll look at for now is label reveal. So this label reveal, and I'll send this one out to you as well. This is just an example of an interactive worksheet. The amount of times that I stocked up my scrap paper drawer with a worksheet that I'd handed out with pretty much just some spellings on and a picture for them to copy. They'd done that work, and I'm probably not going to use that again. It's not worth laminating or saving. So it went in the scrap paper drawer. It could have been sent out with an iPad or something like this. So to make this one here again with that pencil, or making the Space Invader at the top, I've added my own picture in the background. That picture can be anything. It's just a JPEG. You can download from Google and just use it there. And then you can add in your hotspots. You can move these around whichever way you want them to be, and kind of have those there. If you want to add more information, you can type that in there. And that can be about anything. Whether it's labeling a country, labeling the parts of a body, it might be labeling parts of a plant, whatever it is, it can just be sent out. And then as I click on these bits here, that can be sent out to students as well, which is good. So there's loads and loads of those different ones. There are more available on the online version as well, but I won't go into detail with that. One of them, oh, I haven't looked at. I can't find her. I'm just going to open up a separate one. I'll show you here. This one here is called response. Now, response, let's go through this way. Response here, it's yellow because it's a slightly different one. As I'm just going to click you on a preview here, when it's sent out to your device, you'll get the questions here, and then I'll get my whole class progress on there. That one there, the slight difference is that one can be exported as data, and then you can have that as an Excel file as well. So I'm just going to make that one in front of you now, just so we can see how it works. I can have different answers here. Let's go for a multiple answer. So let's go for a multiple choice. Today is, I can spell. And then my first answer is Wednesday, Friday, can't spell. Monday. So I've added those ones there. Let's add another question as well. I like, let's go for a poll. I like D. That'll do. Click next. And you just give your opinion, and I can click finish. So then I've made that game ready for us. So this assessment here, obviously you might use slightly better questions than me. I click start. It's then sent out to your devices. You can see you don't need to log into another activity or send out to another activity. It's just going. You can see that 6% of you are answered that first question. We've got 4 or 5 of us answered on that one there. I can hide your results just so 29% of the people are through it. It's 30% of us through. So as a student, you would see this. You can see that it's Wednesday. And second, if you click at the top, there's a little arrow. At the top here, there's an arrow. And that's how to get on to the next question. Oh, there's only one question. I obviously didn't answer that one correctly. Hey ho. So let's send the results on here. I'm just going to end that activity now. Then I can export my results. There's a button down here. I'll show you there. There's a button down there that says export results. And that can then go, and I can save that to the desktop. And then it's just saved as an Excel file. And you can see that these are the people that answer the question. These ones get it correct. And then I can analyze that and take that data home as much as I wish. Great. So that's a very kind of a little bit of picking each one of those games apart. Essentially, go and have a look at that Space Invader and have a play with those. The only thing you may need to do is to sign into those before you can send them out to everybody else, or get those students involved with that on their own machines. To be able to sign into it, you just click on your account at the top. This will also activate your premium side of the software as opposed to just the basic version. So if you click on account at the top there and click in sign in, it'll ask you to sign in with either with your Google or your Microsoft email account. I'm going to guess that you're all Microsoft email accounts. So click on Microsoft and then just go through your normal email and password, log in, and then it will absolutely work. You'll definitely get a 45-day free trial. If for some reason it's not working, contact IT and make sure that's all working. They do need to do something their end just to make sure your email address is linked to a product key in a smart portal. But it's quite an easy task to do, but we'll leave that to the techie side of people. And from your point of view, click on account and sign in. And then you'll have access to all those features as well. Right. that's enough of that Space Invader. I've spent kind of a good half an hour talking about click this Space Invader. But hopefully you've had a feel of how those games work and kind of the purpose of some of those. And hopefully start using some of those because they are good. What I'm going to have a look at now is some of the maths tools. At the top here, there's some measurement tools. So again, I'm working with this within Smart Notebook. And if I click on that at the top here, there are my measurement tools available. So I've got a ruler, and that can be moved around like a normal ruler as well. If I pick up a pen and start writing, if I draw along the edge, obviously it's a straight line. If I touch the edge of the ruler, it can be changed for that one there. Another one of those is your protractor. If I touch that kind of middle arc there, that's how to make it bigger and smaller. If I touch the bottom bit there, I can move it around. Again, just great for being able to model it on the board there rather than having to see it from here. I know I've done this in the past with a visualizer, looking down at my actual one, and I've drawn it in front of them. But actually to be able to do it on the screen here, it saves some of those wobbles as well, which is useful. And I can twist that as well if I wanted to look at that angle as well. So let's twist it back to there. If you want to use the whole one, there's a little dot there, just so it's nice to be able to explain that it's part of a whole. The whole is 360, and you have got those measurements on that as well. Or if you do want to hide it, so obviously it looks more like the ones that you're used to, then you can see that as well. If you click on it, it says, this arrow here appears. I can move that arrow to either measure it here, and if I can actually chuck that out there. So that angle is 35 degrees, or I can move it to there and click that one out, and that one is 56. So there is that feature as well within that protractor, which is useful to look at as well. Also within there, there is the set square, which I never found a use for, but there is a set square if you want to use it, as well as the compass, which is a bit more useful. The compass takes a bit of a play with to be able to, which that arm moves that one, that arm makes it bigger and smaller. You also can rotate the thing as well. You can click on the pen and to arch it around, or you can just click up your normal pen and be able to draw that circle for that. Even just making a quick Venn diagram, it's quite useful to be able to just do that with the 3 circles there as well, which is good. Looking at shapes as well, there's also some shapes at the top here. If you do want to have those pre-made ones appear, they're all up in that box. Whichever ones you want to, they are pre-made shapes there. There's the more complicated shapes as well, if you want to look at it that way. Not that pentagon is too complicated, but some of those ones when you're looking at a 16-digit side of the shape, which I have no idea what the name of it is, but it's a 16-sided shape and it is there. You can have a look at those. What is useful is that the board now knows that it is these shapes. So I've just clicked on it and made it smaller there. If I click on this square here, it knows that it's a square. It knows that it's a shape, and I can do different things to it. For example, I can show the interior angles. So you can see that they're all 90. I can actually show the sides of the length as well. So they're all 5.2. If I bring in a ruler, then that there will actually measure up exactly to that as well. So I can now measure that it is 5.2 on that ruler there. So it's that useful. It is a square because they're all the same. It is a square because all of the angles are the same as well. Slightly differently on a triangle, what I can do here, if I was showing these vertices, I can make it the right kind of triangle that I want. I've just got too many shapes in the way. But also I can show interior angles. So rather than just the 90, 90, 90, I've now got a triangle. And if I'm trying to kind of explain that this is an equilateral triangle, I can now actually make, not quite right, close enough. There is my equilateral triangle, and I can now turn it around and say, look, even this way up. Yes, we normally look at it that way up, but you can spin it around in that way as well. Sorry, my camera jumped off. So that's some good examples of those different maths tools in there. You have got, I did briefly look at last week of how to draw some of those shapes. So I picked up a pen, my pen menu appears, and I have got some different options in here, including this shape recognition pen, where I can draw that triangle, I can draw a circle or whatever kind of. Oh, that won't go because that's a curved line. It does have to be straight lines to be able to kind of make that up there. But that's quite a nice, useful thing there. You have got some more complicated maths tools. I won't go into that one there, looking at primary side, but there are some more in there. Again, if you are just wanting the, we looked at these last week, the number lines. You have got some different number lines that you can have stored in your gallery as well. This one here, I've just Googled and saved it into my gallery, which is a useful kind of place to store those in. Right. The other one is a table as well. If you want to create tables, at the top there, in that menu at the top, there is a place to just add a table, and you can add those in there. And then if you are writing, you can then draw that and put it in each space there, and then that will be in each of those, or even just trying to make some kind of timetable, you can put those within that there. So that's quite a nice organization of those timetables there. And then if you do want to bring it, and it copies it across to other ones as well, there are on there. Cool. So that there is that in Smart Notebook, which sits on the desktop there. So all of that is sending out parts of your lesson to get them more engaged, get them more involved, to kind of enhance, if you want to use the title that we were trying to aim for. And those are really, really good. And there's lots and lots of different ways of using that obviously you can think of, putting those into the context of your classroom. If you do want to put your whole lesson into the cloud, I've made it in Smart Notebook here. If I click on File and then click on Share, that is then going to take it to the cloud. What I mean is, from that is, rather than going, when you go to hellosmart.com, let's do it now. hellosmart.com. In fact, it's going to ask me for all my googly stuff and bits and pieces as well, so I'm not going to do that. Rather than signing in as a student, at the top it said sign in as a teacher. I've just got two-factor authentication on my Microsoft one, so it'll take me a while if I do that. But you just sign in as a teacher, and then rather than going like a student into the lesson, here goes into the teacher side of things as well. So here is my list of my lessons. That's the last week's session there that I did put into the cloud. And here I've got my whole lessons in here. If I just wanted to make these in the cloud, I can drag and drop them and put them in here. I can import resources. I can import notebook files or PowerPoints, PDFs, and that can be in the cloud here. I can start a new lesson or start with a YouTube video there. They've also got these graphic organizers. This is just sitting within the cloud. So you don't need an app for anything like this. It's just straight through a web browser. So if you are having it from a phone, from a tablet, from an iPad, from a desktop, from a smartboard, wherever it might be, they can be in here. And let's just click on this story map one to start with. Now this is making my lesson in the cloud, or I could have chosen one of the ones that I've already made. Once that has loaded, here I can add all those activities as well. So if I did want to add all these templates as well, you can see that these are all in here. There is a slightly different, there's a memory match as well. So it's popping over cards. You can see that match them up, letters with the fruits. You can match those together. So there's a few extra games, but most of those, all the ones that we looked at are already in there as well. So once I've got that, I can also add audio instructions as well. If I want to send it out as a homework piece, I can add that audio so their children can actually hear what they need to do within it. I'm going to click finish on this one. Here's my lesson here. Click on it to start it. So because it's using the same code as all of you were in beforehand, I can see that 6 of you are already here. So Chris, Leah, Em, Megan, Sarah, and Tom are still joined in. Everybody else is fine. If you want to come back in and join, you can. If not, you can just kind of see it. This lesson is now sent out to you. So I can teach from here. If I wanted to add in a blank page, I'm now going on to page 2. You're going on to page 2 as well. So as I move through my lesson, obviously if I've imported my whole lesson as opposed to just these little ones here, you can have that whole lesson in front of you there. What I'm going to do with this one now is a bit like on that monster quiz. We put you into individuals, into teams here. I'm going to put you into changes to a collaborative space. So now we are going to collaborate together on this piece of paper. I could choose to put you into different groups. I'm just going to put you into 2 this group time. So half of you are going to go on there, half of you are going to go on there. Again, I can move these around if I want to. I can click start. And now we've got a collaborative piece. So Chris, Mrs. B, Sarah, Tom, and Vicky, you are all writing together on here. So you can pick up a pen, which is available at the side. You can put main characters, you can draw them. And I'm now inking on yours, but you can now also ink on this. That's on team 1s. I'm going to jump into team 2s, which is Meg and Leah. And no one's, feel free to scribble all over this so we can kind of see that 2-way inking. I can scribble on that one there, and then that's available in your device. You can add images or whatever on that one. Come on, someone write something. Oh, here we are. Who's written this one? So if I click on your writing here, see Vicky's already been writing on this one here. The setting is a forest and a tree. Vicky's put that one in. The problem is that someone has knocked down the house. So thanks, Vicky. And then team 2. Hey, setting is in the garden. Who said it should be setting in the garden? Let's click on that. R has done that. Solution turns into a butterfly. Oh, isn't that lovely? And flies away. Marvelous. You can type the answer as well. That is available for you as well, but that's just an option. As I move on to the next page, you are going to move on to the next page as well. So maybe that planning's finished. In this one here, I'm now going to put it onto an individual handout. So now everybody has got that one piece of paper you can all write on. And just click start and that'll be going. And I'm actually going to give you student control as well. So Vicky and R, I can see that you've already clicked on go. So I can click on Vicky's work. I can 2-way inking just with Vicky. I could have sent the game to hers. Those are available on here. Vicky can annotate on her piece of paper there. Maybe she's starting to write a story or putting some more stuff or just writing hello. So hello, Vicky. The same to Mrs. B. I can click on yours and I can see that she's got once she started to write a butterfly story. Brilliant. We'll look at sentence starters later on as well. Or I can look at ours. There. I've also given you the ability, because I've now put it in student paste, to now go up and down your lesson and have a look at that as well from there. That was a very, very, very quick look at the online stuff. We're going to have a look at that in a bit more detail next week, just to see how it can actually be used in the practical side of things, rather than just but I kind of wanted to give you that insight of what's possible, and then we'll look at those in a bit more detail next week. I'll leave that online one if you want to look at it here. I'm going to pause for a moment for questions. So feel free to kind of begin to get those processed, or just thinking, yes, it's nearly finished, I want to go home, or go and mark all the rest of the books. Just as a challenge here, which one of those activities do you think you'll be able to use this week? I'd love to kind of come back next week and the first 5 minutes of saying is, I used that activity, it was awful. I used that activity, it was great. The students really like this one. And those practical examples, because it's actually when you use it within your classroom, you see which ones are best suited for either you or best suited for the students as well. And of course, feel free to put them on social media as well, or email me a copy of those, that'd be great. Social media wise, Smart are across obviously all social media, as we'd expect. And if you want to use them as a professional learning network, it's a great place to start looking at any of those there. So, questions. I know I've kind of run through that and kind of given you a bit of a look at all of those. But if I just pause there, and if we want to go off on tangents, or if you want to talk about any of those, then feel free to pipe up.
If you want to speak. Any questions? Yeah, they're loving it here. We just need 100 more iPads in school.
Yeah, it does come down to that sometimes. Even Kindle Fires, which are a lot cheaper, it's not as good a device, but it's a cheap something. But yeah, the iPads I think are nice to use.
Yeah, we've just invested in some bigger ones. So, you know, we've got 30, but it's, you know, that's one class. So, but obviously you can use, we could use our laptops, but obviously it's not quite the same, is it, with drawing on a laptop and things like that?
No, not quite, no.
Yeah. No, they did have questions, but you've answered them as they've gone along, actually. Thank you.
I'm just going to say here, once you've got these here in your library, yes, I've paused it for you, I can actually share that lesson here with a link. Now, I've got a teacher link, so I can share it with another teacher, or actually with a student link here. I can then post this link and send it out to students, so then they can take that lesson home with them. Whether that is, for example, teachers have embedded a YouTube video of you teaching a maths operation, send it so parents know how to do step by step, and then the students can go on like that. Or it might be just be, here's the work we've done, here's some games to play that you've made, send out as links to students, and students just do this in the web browser. Because it is a link, you could text the parents a link. You could put it on Seesaw, you could put it on your Teams if you're using students with Teams. Whichever learning platform you're sending out that distance learning, it can be sent out here. Or if you wanted to turn it into a QR code and put it at the bottom of your newsletter and send it out that way, you can. Just as an example.
Yeah.
Stunned silence is always beautiful.
Yeah, I think probably, because we've had a few technical issues with our leads, what people are probably going to go away and do now, and I think we didn't even realise that we had all the smart technology there, or we didn't have it before. So, for us, I think it's, having a bit of a practice and a play, and also creating that a place where we can start, sharing these lessons so that we keep them. I know Claire at Ryden, they had this technology for a long time and used to it, but we haven't had this before, have we? So it's quite new to us. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the state of boards across everyone. I'm not sure if everyone's got the new ones or if some have and some haven't. This software can be used on all of the boards. Right. So even if you are not one of the lucky ones that have got one of the new ones and you're kind of next, then this software will work across all of them as well. Equally, you can download this at home and make all these games at home. So then you can just bring them on and save them and bring them into school as well. It's not just something you have to do it kind of at the board.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, it's easier actually from your laptop because you can type the answers.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't recommend typing on the screen. It's a right annoyance.
Set it all up. So, thank you.
It's all right.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Bi-weekly CPD. Okay.
I do run kind of 20-minute sessions on a lunchtime, out on a Thursday, and lunchtime and after school. If you do want to join those, there are the links there. The links were on that flyer that I sent out to everybody else as well. It's just a drop-in session on Thursdays. Not this week, it'll be next week. If you want to have a look at that, we're going to look at some project-based learning for that as well. So if you do want to have a look at that, feel free to join in. If not, we'll look at the next one, which is the Engage one. We'll look at that online stuff, and how to kind of look at sending it out to students and that sort of side of things in a deeper look, and how it kind of all interacts into that one loop circle as well. Unless you send me loads of other things and just say, scrap that, I want training session on this, and then I'll do it on that.
I think
thank you very much.
Actually, the how to embed it in home learning, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
that would be really useful for us. Yeah.
So ask if the
you can ask.
Oh, hiya. the lunchtime sessions you run, are they for more advanced kind of users?
No, not at all. It's essentially, I can't give a webinar like this to everyone all at once. So it's just designed as come and learn something, and next week we'll learn something else, next week we'll learn something else. I try and aim it at you've got no understanding whatsoever, and then here's a bit more information. And then if you want to learn more, go and find it yourself or go and email me more. But let's start with a baseline of nothing, and then we'll go from there.
Right, brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been so helpful.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you.